human and being, because that's what we were talking about, okay? The human is total time consciousness, total, okay? And it, as a fact, not only is time conscious, but it cannot even feel the now. The human can never be now. When you come into now, you have gone into a space that contains everything that is present. You see? So, because everything that is present is contained within the now, the time called now. Now is pure being. That's what now is. Okay? But the human is always caught in time. So whenever we feel love, the moment there is love, it takes you away from the human and you go back into being. So you could fluctuate without realizing it. For example, let's say you're going to work. And so there's a sense of time. Oh, I have to be on time, I have to do this, I have to do that, I plan this, I plan that. This is all part of it. So you're caught in time. But then you get into a situation where, let's say you have a client, and you love this client. This client is so beautiful, everything is just flowing. You really resonate with this being. All of a sudden you lose all sense of time, because there's love. Okay? So this is what is happening to us in everyday life. We're going from the human to being, human and being, human and being. The point is to see that all the time being is there. When we start to function from being all the time, we begin to lose sense of time. You see, and we become more functional, more successful. And life then will appear to us as not as the world, but as a motion of being, as an experience of being.
The sense of time seems to dissolve.
Yes, when there is love.
Yet the activity still continues.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Activity never stops.
Right, so the sense of time is, that's just...
Activity is not dependent on, time is not dependent on activity. It is dependent on consciousness. If your consciousness is based on what you love doing, time is irrelevant. Okay? If you're sitting on a hot stove, 1 second will feel like eternity. Okay? But if you're feeling great love for something, you enjoy it so much, you say, oh my gosh, an hour went by. Where did time go? You see? So it's a matter of love. When there is love, there is being. When there is being, there is no time. The moment you go into the human, it's all time-based, all of it. So we're all the time fluctuating. Now the ideal state of the human being is to integrate them both. When the human and the being become one, we call that a whole being. The whole being is aware of only one thing, being. He might appear human, but he is really divine. The awakened being is no longer human in the sense that we think human. You see, he's functioning from, for example, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. Nothing could be more divine than that. He appeared human. His body was very weak. You see, by the time he was 70, he could hardly walk. You know, but what you could see, you could feel in his energy that he wasn't in the body. There was no body home. He was just essence, pure presence. See, living from a particular form. So this is the whole evolution. Yeah.
Is it at all possible to feel that while still maintaining the location of being in the body?
Yes, but the location begins to shift too. You see, because the being is not located anywhere. The being is. The body is located. The human is located. The idea of the human is located. So you live in that location, and everything seems to happen from this vantage point.
No, for instance, I'm talking about feelings. That's my kind of mode of operation usually.
Oh, okay.
Like, for instance, when I close my eyes and I try to just let go, before sleep, as I do sometimes, I can never let go of the location of here, and the sensation of body. So does that ever?
Oh, of course it does.
Change. I mean.
Yeah, you've had experiences where you felt like your presence, your everything.
glimpses.
Glimpses.
But
Yeah.
it's not usual for me.
Mm-hmm.
Usually
Sometimes we feel.
It feels quite fine.
Sometimes we do feel locked in this locality, but you'll begin to experience sometimes as in deep sleep. You know, in deep sleep, for example, we don't have a locality. Did you know that?
Yeah.
But we're not aware that we're aware of non-locality.
Right.
Because being has no locality. Being is. You know, the stars and this room are one. You know, because it's all now.
So is that another reason to be humble then?
That's right. That's right. The human is very, very tenacious. It's just like crazy glue, you know. You have a picture there, you try to get rid of it, you know, and you pick it up with this hand and it sticks to this hand. Like you can't let go of it. And that's what the human is. When you see the helplessness of being human and to accept it, well, of course the human doesn't accept, but to see that you're helpless to do anything, that very humility, that very humbleness will bring you to being. We have no power at all as humans. But we have the greatest power in the world, the greatest, not in the world, in the universe, as our being. You see, when we begin to realize that very even small significant realization, the me begins to drop, the idea of me, of I. It drops by itself because you realize it was never there. There's only one I. Then that is the awareness, the presence itself, you see. And then you find that, yeah, I am located in my body, especially when there is pain. I am located in my body when, I'm very, very tired. But there's a knowing inside you that is saying, does it really matter? Is this serious? I am. You see? And that becomes so strong in you that no matter what is happening, the pain is still there, the discomfort is still there. It doesn't go away. But you know that you're greater than this, you're deeper than this. And it is that knowing that begins to pull you away more and more and more into this state of non-locality.
And it can be perhaps so gradual that...
It becomes so gradual you don't even notice it. No, you cannot notice your own awakening.
No.
You cannot measure it.
Impossible.
I have seen clients come to see me and after a year they're so beautiful, they're so here now, and they say, have I really awakened? And and I said, well, you cannot measure it, but you're 10 times more beautiful than you were. You're not tense, you're relaxed.
Indicative of what a no
exactly
thing is. It's no thing.
Exactly, because as the me begins to drop, you cannot measure your own growth because you are getting so much larger than your own ego.
So it's doubly obvious that these concerns about
yes.
human type things.
All self-concerns are simply the human worried about the human. That's all it is. And it all creates problems. Yeah. But all concerns begin to drop away.
If given attention.
If given attention.
Yeah.
But if you give attention to being, only being, the being is all there is. When I look at Mushi, I don't see a cat. I see being.
maybe that's my real question then. How does one give attention, conscious attention, to such a non...
And that is the beauty. That's called love. Okay. It's there. How is it there? In the beginning, when we have a pet or a baby, we see the baby. We see the body, how cute it is. It's learning to walk, smile and everything else. But there comes time when we begin to love it. Love it so much that we go beyond the body, beyond the form. And then we begin to see its presence. And it fills us. It just fills us to see it. You see? Because what is it that loves? When you start to love something, what is happening? You're going beyond the form. If you have a child and you love it and it goes into an accident and its face becomes monstrous, it becomes distorted, you mean you're going to stop loving it? The question doesn't even arise, right? Because it's taking you deeper. That love now has become the being itself, you see? And that's a beautiful thing. So this is when you begin to see being. You still see the form, but the form is no longer relevant, is no longer important. you see being. And this is how you see being. It's not a physical thing, it's there. I can never look at a human being or even an animal or a dog or a kitten without seeing being. I used to call it, I see Bhagavan everywhere. You see? Because that's all there is. And what people think and what people feel and what people emote is just their humanness. It has nothing to do with them, really. In reality, they are beautiful, they are pure beings, but they don't know it. And that is the difference.
So back to my question.
Yeah.
So would your answer be that there is no specific, there's no way really to give conscious attention?
No, you cannot know.
It's just awareness.
It's just awareness that there's only being. But it comes so strong, it comes of its own.
Or maybe just letting go of what's noticed to be human, and when fully seen to be
No, that's a
human,
beautiful way of putting it.
Relax attention.
You just allow the human to be what it is, does what it does. It doesn't matter because it's just its own game. And then this is how you begin to feel being. The human is no longer in control of your life. You see? Yeah. You just relax. Yeah.
And yet, when you take care of the human, that seems like an act of love.
Of course.
If you don't treat it badly, the human...
Yes. Thank you for that question, because we think we have to discard the human. No, 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 no. When you fall in love with being, you take good care of the human automatically. You see, you don't put food in your mouth that you know is going to be unhealthy. You just don't do it. You only put bad food in your mouth when you don't love yourself. Why? We choose a lot of sugar because we need love. You see? We eat ice cream most of the time when we know it's not good for us because we don't love ourselves enough. So we need something to munch on. You see what I mean? Eating disorders are lack of self-love. But there is no self-love, there's only love. So therefore, when you begin to see that you are not human, you are this being, automatically you begin to take better care of yourself. It's automatic, you don't even try to do it. You know, some people smoke and drink every day. You see, when you totally have this love, you just don't do it. There's no need anymore for it. You see? And that's how things begin to change. I don't mean to offend anybody if you're smokers. It is just that you take better care of yourself automatically when you live from being. It's automatic. You don't have to read books. You see?